if he plays with someone else. Bolo Barsane Vari Ki. So we'll get started with tonight's lecture and Pad Vyakya. The sheets for the chanting are being passed out. So once you're seated, you'll receive a sheet. Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Cheto Darparnamarjanam Bhavamaha Davagni Nirvapanam Shreya Kairavachandrika Vitaranam Vidyavadhu Jivanam Anandambudhivardhanam Pratipadam Purnamrita Swadanam Sarvatmasnapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Yo Brahmanam Vidadhati Purvam Yo Vai Vedanscha Prahinoti Tasmai Tagvamha Devamatma Buddhi Prakasham Mumukchurvai Sharanamaham Prapadye. Dear devotees, tonight we'll be singing the Pad Kirtan, Mero Man Gaur Charan Anuragyo. So we'll sing the first line, and after that I'll begin the explanation of the philosophy of this Kirtan. Gaur see that the top of the line is cut off. If you're reading the Hindi, it's supposed to be Gaur. The double matra is cut off. Gaur Charana Anuragyo Charan means the beautiful lotus feet of Radharani. Her whole body is Gora. She's very fair complexion with a golden hue, a golden glow. Very fair, but with a golden glow beneath the surface. So her feet are being referred to as Gaur Charan, very fair complexioned lotus feet of Radha. Mera man anuragyo. Anurag means love. A lot of times people ask, what is surrender? We hear about we have to surrender our mind to God. When we surrender, then God graces us. With that grace, we progress on the path and eventually we will attain God. So what is surrender? Surrender is this, anurag, same thing. Love is surrender. All the spiritual practices are meant to bring us to the point that, in the words of Shri Kripalu ji Maharaj, this devotee has reached. He's saying, my mind is now attached to the lotus feet of Radharani. Na chalati bhagavat padar vinda lavani mishardha mapiya savaishnavagriya. In the Bhagavatam, the definition of a real devotee is someone whose mind never leaves the lotus feet of the Lord, even for one fraction of a second. Jap tap niyam yoga nij dharma shruti sambhav nana shubha karma Gyan dayadam tirath majjan jahan lagi dharma kahe shruti sajjan agam nigam puran aneka padhe sune kar phal prabhu eka Tav pad pankaj priti nirantar sab sadhan kar yah phal sundar Jahan lagi sadhan ved bakhani sab kar phal hari bhagati bhavani. True bhakti is love for the lotus feet of Bhagwan. All the practices, I just quoted a verse from Ramayana, where Tulsidas Ji is naming all the different ways of devotion that people follow. And he says the whole point of doing any of this is to develop attachment of the mind to the lotus feet of the Lord. How to do that? First of all, we need knowledge. Someone was asking me during dinner that about Gyan and Bhakti. Gyan and Bhakti also go together. They can be partners, although the path of Gyan and the path of Bhakti are two separate paths. But on the path of Gyan, you still need Bhakti, and on the path of Bhakti, you still need Gyan. For example, in this next line, leave the curtains open. We did no need to close the curtains. In this next line, Sovat rahyo anadi kalate rasika kripate jagyo. How will a person develop love for the lotus feet of Radharani if they're asleep? Asleep means they're asleep in the dream that I am this body. You know what? We're like that lion cub who got lost when he was very young. He got separated from his pride. And he ended up with a herd of sheep. From the time he was a little baby, he started following these sheep around. And they took care of him. Thought he was a little weird looking, but they accepted him as one of their own. So that lion grew up going, meh, meh, along with all the other sheep. And he was perfectly fine growing up like that. He was happy being a sheep. Now, one day, a lion came hunting, or pride of lions came hunting, and they chased that herd of sheep. And the one lion who was part of that pride, he said, there's a lion running away from us with the herd of sheep? What is he doing? So he ran after that lion and he tackled him. And he said, what are you doing with these sheep? And the lion's going, meh, meh. And the bigger, older lion says, what are you doing? You're a lion. You're supposed to roar. So the younger lion said, "What are you talking about? I'm a sheep. I've been a sheep my whole life." So that lion, the older one, grabbed him by the scruff of the neck and took him down to the pond and made him look in his reflection, at his reflection in the pond. Then he said, "Oh, I'm not a lamb, I'm a lion." So that's what the saints have to do to us. They have to wake us up from this dream. We think, "Oh, I'm just this physical body and I just belong to this world. And everything, whatever's happening in my life and in this world, that's the only thing there is. It's the only thing that matters. It's the be-all and end-all." This is how we live our life. But we need knowledge. So the saints, drawing on the knowledge of the scriptures, give us this tattva gyan. So rasika kripate jagyo. Rasik, I explained earlier today. It means someone who has attained the divine love of Radha and Krishna. They have tasted the ras of Radha Krishna's leelas. Such a person is called a rasik. So here, Shri Kripalu Maharaj has written this devotional song in the words of a devotee. So he's saying that I have been awakened with the grace of a rasik saint. Mityo swapna sansar apu hi moha timir sababhagyo. The darkness of moha. Moha means our attachments. Most of us like our attachments. That's why they delude us. Moha means delusion. See, there's a sequence that happens. If we think I am the body, then what happens? Then I think everything related to my body, all the worldly things, these are mine. So they're what matter. And the more I go on thinking that, the more my mind gets attached to them. I keep thinking, this person is going to give me happiness, or this thing, this car, this house is going to give me happiness. Can you close that door? This goes on creating attachments. Dhyayato vishayan punsah sangasteshu pajayate sangat sanjayate kama kamat krodho bhijayate. Gita says, the more you go on thinking about something as a potential source of happiness, the more you get attached to that. So just like that lion mistook himself for a sheep, and then he understood, okay, I am a sheep, so all these sheep are mine. They're all related to me. He was completely wrong. Similarly, we think I am this body when the fact is I am the soul. And then as long as I believe I am the body, then everything related to my body must be mine and will be my source of happiness. So we live in this moha, this delusion that this world is mine. And we're very much attached to all the things that we dwell upon, people and things. We don't want to let them go, even though one day we always have to. Nothing in this world lasts forever, and our body doesn't last forever. So when our body finishes, then whatever we are holding on to with this body, that relationship also finishes. So with the grace of a rasik saint, we get the correct knowledge. Oh, I'm not the body, I'm the soul. It's my soul that's demanding happiness and demanding divine happiness, Radha Krishna. Only then I'll be happy. Then gradually that fog of delusion lifts. There's a great analogy that explains to us how we chase the wrong type of happiness. We're all seeking happiness, but we're seeking the dream happiness instead of the real happiness. This mityo swapna sansar. Right now we're sleeping in the dream of worldly happiness. Just like, let's say I made you go hiking all day and I didn't give you any water. You were out in 100-degree heat hiking up. I made you go up and down Barsana Hill 20 times and didn't give you any water, and then you just went to bed without drinking anything. So you're really thirsty. So what's going to happen in your dream? You might start drinking water in your dream. That happens. You're feeling so thirsty that in your dream, you go to the sink, you fill up a nice glass of water, and you start drinking. Oh, it's so satisfying. But then you have to drink more water. You keep drinking water all night long. And whenever you wake up in between your dreams, your throat is still parched. You still feel so thirsty, even though you've been drinking water all night in your dream. But you're still thirsty. You go back to sleep, drink some more water in your dream. It still doesn't quench your thirst. So instead of drinking the water in the dream, what you need to do is wake up and drink the real water. What we do, we keep trying to satisfy our thirst for divine happiness with the dream water of this world, with the temporary pleasures of this world. So we have to wake up from that dream and realize, I'm a lion. I should be roaring, not bleating like a lamb. I should be chasing divine happiness, not just trying to satisfy myself with these fleeting material pleasures. I have to aim for the real thing. So this is what Shri Maharaj is referring to here when he says, I've been sleeping since eternity. For uncountable lifetimes, I've been turned away from God, and I've had this belief that I'm this body. So I've been chasing all the things, all the Mayic things of this world related to the body. But now, with the grace of a Rasic saint, I've gained the correct knowledge. So I've awakened from this dream. I'm no longer under the spell of all these material pleasures, thinking that this is the real thing. Although they still have a pull on my mind, but I know they're not the real thing. The real thing is the love of Radha Krishna. Okay, that's enough for now. We'll sing these 2 lines and I'll continue with some more philosophy after. Gaur Charana Anuragyo Mero Mana रसिक कृपा ते जाग्यो मेरो मन रसिक कृपा ते जाग्यो मेरो मन रसिक कृपा जाग्यो मेरो मन रसिक कृपा मिट्यो स्वप्न संसार आपुही मिट्यो स्वप्न संसार आपुही मोह तिमिर सब भाग्यो मेरो मन मोह तिमिर सब भाग्यो मेरो मन चरण अनुराग्यो मेरो मन So knowledge comes first. We need the knowledge of who we are, who am I, and who is mine. Main kaun, mera kaun. I am the soul and I belong to Radha Krishna and they are mine. Once we get that knowledge, love follows automatically. There's a great analogy that, let's say you're out walking and you just find a shiny ring lying on the side of the road somewhere. You pick it up and you think, oh, who would leave an expensive piece of jewelry just lying around? It's probably costume jewelry. Looks like a diamond, but it's probably just cubic zirconia. But nonetheless, it's kind of pretty, so you take it home, toss it on the counter somewhere. Eventually it ends up in your junk drawer in your kitchen. But one day, a friend of yours who happens to be a jeweler stops by, so you pull out this ring and you show it to him. He takes out his eyepiece and looks at it, and he looks at you. He says, "Where did you get this?" He said, "I just found it lying on the road." He says, "This diamond, I would appraise it at $1 million. What? Now you're holding this ring like this, like it's the most precious thing in your whole life. The same thing you just tossed in your junk drawer. What changed? The ring didn't change. Your knowledge changed. So when we get the correct knowledge that Radha Krishna could give me perfect, unlimited happiness, to whatever extent you believe that, you will love them automatically. You had faith in your jeweler friend, so based on the knowledge he gave you, your love for that ring multiplied instantly. So if we have faith in the saints and the scriptures that they are telling us, you are a divine soul, Radha Krishna are yours. You can get perfect love and happiness from them. To whatever percentage we believe them, to the same percentage we'll develop love instantly for the lotus feet of Radharani. So knowledge is very important. Tattva Gyan comes. Then we develop that knowledge more by thinking about it and also by practicing Rup Dhyan. What we've been teaching you here this weekend and what Shri Kripalu ji Maharaj teaches us all the time, to practice thinking about Radha Krishna in their beautiful form, feeling that they are mine, that develops more attachment to them. You're already doing this for worldly people and things. The people you think are beautiful, the people you think are going to make you happy. You think about them all the time. You do roop dhyan of them. So we have to do that same abhyas, that same practice of deeply remembering Radha and Krishna. It doesn't happen naturally in the beginning, so that's why we have to come to the mandir and sit and make special time to do roop dhyan, or you make special time in your home to sit and do roop dhyan. But by thinking about the philosophy and then practicing this roop dhyan, our experience begins to deepen. Bhakti pareshanubhavo virakti ranyatra traishatrika ekakala prapadyamanasya yathashnata syustushti pushti chudapayo nughasam. Bhagavatam. The more you practice, three things start to happen, just automatically. So in this shlok, it said, just like you eat, so when you eat, before you were hungry, so now your hunger is going to be pacified. That feeling that was tormenting you, that's going to go away. On top of that, you'll get a feeling of satisfaction, that your belly is getting full. And on top of that, all the cells of your body are going to be nourished by eating. What did you have to do? Just eat the food. That's it. Just eat it. You didn't have to analyze how the food's going into your body, getting digested in your stomach, how it enters into your bloodstream and then goes to all your cells and organs. You didn't have to analyze that or even know about it. All you had to do was eat the food. Similarly, by doing roop dhyan, you get the knowledge, think about the knowledge, and now practice roop dhyan. So by practicing this sadhana bhakti, three things happen. The knowledge you had that Radha Krishna are mine and they are here with me, that theoretical knowledge, just like memorized knowledge, starts to become experiential knowledge, because in your practice of roop dhyan, you start to actually experience Radha Krishna's closeness. So it's not just a memorized thing. You actually experience, they're here with me. So that becomes real knowledge. Number two, you develop vairagya from the world. Your worldly attachments automatically reduce. So that's why Maharaji wrote, Mityo swapna sansar apuhi, apne aap chala jata hai. All that delusion of worldly attachments, that all this is mine, and people say, how do I remove my mind from the world? It's so hard. Don't remove your mind from the world. Get knowledge and practice devotion. Your mind is automatically going to get attached to Radha Krishna, and it's automatically going to start releasing its attachments. So don't even worry about releasing attachments. Just practice bhakti. And the third thing is bhav. You get loving experiences. You get the real experience of bhakti, and you start to taste the ras of practicing bhakti. So then your mind gets further proof. Oh, there really is happiness. There's such a sweetness in thinking of Radha Krishna. I want to do more. And this is how we progress on the path. So the path of bhakti is very simple. Is the knowledge I just shared with you difficult to remember or understand? That you are not the body, you are the soul? No. It's pretty simple. Now that you've heard it, you can go and teach it to someone else. So it's not a difficult thing. And the practice of devotion is also not difficult. Remember, I said we already have the skill. We already deeply and lovingly remember the people and things that we're attached to. That's the only skill we need. We just have to apply that skill to remembering Radha Krishna. So bhakti is not a difficult practice. What's difficult is convincing ourselves to make time to do it. That's what's difficult. But the actual practice of bhakti is not difficult. So in the next line, Shri Kripaluji Maharaj says, Binu ashtanga yoga sadhehi, without the arduous practices of yoga and gyan and tapascharya, without all of those arduous practices that are described in the scriptures, chitta prema rasa pagyo, I got that thing I was looking for, that love of Radha Krishna, just by doing bhakti. I'm not even qualified to do yoga or follow the path of gyan or do any great austerities. What, am I like Dhruv? I'm going to go stand on one leg for 6 months and live on leaves, or even stop my breathing, which he did for the whole last month. Can I do that kind of austerities? No. But I can do Roop Dhyan. Everybody can do Roop Dhyan, from a small child to an elderly person. So the path of bhakti is so accessible to everybody. There is sarvatrakita in the path of bhakti. It means it's for everybody. No one is unqualified to follow this path. But there are very strict qualifications for following the path of yoga, path of gyan, doing austerities, etc. It's very difficult to be strong enough, focused enough, good enough to follow those paths. But even a very bad person can start on the path of bhakti and become good. Kshipram bhavati dharmatma shashvachantim nigacchati. Gita. Kshipram bhavati dharmatma. Even a bad person, if they start doing bhakti, they'll very quickly purify their heart and start developing the good qualities in their mind. Another thing, another advantage to the path of devotion as compared to other paths is that we're surrendered to Radha Krishna from the very beginning. So that means we have the protection and grace of Radha Krishna helping us on our path. One time there were 2 saints from Maharashtra who wanted to walk to Vrindavan. One was a great yogi saint, Sant Gyaneshwar, and one was a great devotee of Krishna, Bhakta Eknath. So the 2 of them were acquaintances, and they decided, yes, let's go to the holy land of Vrindavan, but it was a very long walk, and the most direct way to get there takes you through the deserts of Rajasthan. So as they were walking and discussing spiritual matters, they reached the desert, and of course both of them became very thirsty, so they found a well. But this well was 200 feet deep, and the water was all the way at the bottom, and there was no bucket and rope. But the water all the way down there looked very appealing, very clean and clear. So they wanted to go down there and drink the water. So Gyaneshwarji, he says, I'm a yogi, so I'm just going to use my yogic siddhis and I'll go down there. So he used his yogic powers. There's one called Arnima, one of the 8 great yogic siddhis. You can make your body more subtle than an atom. You can make yourself lighter than a feather. So he did that, and he just floated down to the bottom, drank all the water he needed, and came back up and looked at his friend Eknath Ji, and he said, what are you going to do? You don't have any yogic siddhis. You just keep doing Radhe Radhe all the time. So as he was saying this, he started to get this look of astonishment on his face. So Eknath Ji turns around to look like, what's happening to him? What's going on behind me? He turns around to look at the well, and the water in the well has come all the way up and overflowed. And Eknath Ji started to cry tears. He said, Krishna, I didn't want to trouble you for such a tiny thing, such an insignificant thing as some water. I would never have asked you, and you went to the trouble to do this for me? He was crying. So you see, the siddhi of the devotee is Krishna himself. Krishna himself follows behind his devotee to give him the benefit of all those yogic siddhis, whatever he may need. And the devotee has never practiced such Ashtanga Yoga to develop those siddhis, has no idea of the value or the necessity of these siddhis, and Krishna just does everything for him. Ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. Gita. Shri Krishna says, the one whose mind is fully attached to me all the time, I take care of everything for them, even down to their material necessities. Now, we are not at the level of Eknath. Our mind is not attached to Krishna all the time, 100%. But nonetheless, Krishna's grace does protect us from falling off of the path of bhakti. When we get more attracted to the world, when we get more involved unnecessarily in worldly desires and attachments, and we drift away from the path of devotion for some time, Krishna is still holding on to us. He protects what we've gained, and he ensures our further progress, because when our sanskars improve a little bit and we start to get interested in devotion again, Krishna pulls us back on the path, and we find that we haven't even lost anything. He had maintained our previous progress despite our foolishness in forgetting about him for so long. He held on to our gains, and now he's going to grace us to go further ahead. So with the grace of Shri Krishna, it is comparatively very easy to progress on the path of bhakti, whereas other paths you progress only through your own power. If you become worldly and lose interest, then fall in the world totally and lose everything you've gained on the path of yoga, gyan, austerities, whatever it may be, but not on the path of bhakti. So Shri Kripalu Maharaj, in the words of a devotee, is saying that I've been blessed by the grace of this Rasik saint. So now, without any type of arduous practices, I was able to attain the love of Radha Krishna just by doing bhakti. It was so easy, and I got everything I wanted. Gaur Charana Anuragyo many paths described in our scriptures, but we have to choose the one that's suitable for us and for the time that we live in. One time a saint came to the home of a beggar who spent all day of his life, every day, going out and begging for whatever he could get and just have enough to maybe buy some fruit or some roti or something, just to have 1 or 2 meals in a day. So this very poor beggar lived in a very simple hut, and one day a saint came and knocked at his door. And he said, "Bhiksham dehi," alms for the poor. And the beggar said, "Babaji, I don't even have enough to eat myself. I would love to give you something, but I have nothing." The saint says, "You're mistaken." He says, "I don't think I'm mistaken. I mean, come on in. I invite you into my hut. You tell me where the treasure is." He says, "Oh, there is a treasure buried under this floor. Didn't you know? There are billions of dollars of gold coins buried beneath the floor of your hut. You're living on top of such a treasure, and yet you go out begging every day? What does this represent? So the hut is our heart. And we are the beggar. And Radha Krishna are the treasure buried in here, inside our heart. Radha Krishna live within us. But instead of seeking for that treasure within, we're looking without. We're going all around. We're begging from other beggars in this world. We're going from house to house and lane to lane, trying to find something to just barely keep us alive. We're subsisting on scraps of happiness that we get here and there. And yet we have the unlimited bliss personified as Radha Krishna living within our very heart. And ignoring them, we go out and we look for the scraps of happiness from this world. So that saint said, yes, that treasure is buried right here beneath the surface, but you have to know where exactly to dig. See, your hut has 4 sides. You've got the north wall, the east wall, the south wall, and the west wall. So you have to make sure you dig in the right place. If you dig in the north, that's Yog Marg. So, in other words, the process of accessing Radha Krishna and experiencing their bliss, you have to choose the correct process. So if you dig in the wrong place, let's say you adopt Ashtanga Yoga, then what will happen? Although it's very difficult, if you're qualified, you could develop some siddhis. Samadha Vupasarga Vyuthani Siddhayaha. Yoga Darshan. Sage Patanjali says, those siddhis you develop in yoga, they're an obstacle for you because you get more attached to them. Oh, I can fly through the air? Yeah, not just Superman can fly. Yogis can fly. Really, if they have these great siddhis, they can teleport, can do all kinds of amazing things, but they're just material powers. So imagine how attached you would be to those powers if you got them. You'd forget all about Radha Krishna. So over there on the north wall, there's a python sleeping. You don't want to disturb him. That python is those siddhis. If you awaken those, they get a hold of you and squeeze the life out of you. So don't dig on the north wall. Over there on the west wall, there's a hornet's nest buried in the ground right beneath the surface. That's karma marg. That's following the path of Vedic actions. Because by doing that, what a person does, they want to do all these Vedic good actions to get enjoyments in Swarg or get a better destiny in their next life. So they're just multiplying their desires. So all those hornets, all those bees, those represent your desires. If you stir up that hornet's nest, those bees are never going to let you alone. They're going to keep stinging you. So if you keep following karma marg, your desires are going to keep multiplying and they're never going to leave you alone. So don't dig over there on the west wall. On the south wall, there's a danger over there also. There's a ghost. If you disturb that ghost, he's going to possess you forever. That's mukti, liberation. See, those bees, eventually, you could get away from them and you could find a Rasik saint, and the Rasik saint can tell you the right place to dig, can tell you where is Bhakti Marg, how to do that. The yogic siddhis also, eventually, you'll fall back in the world, you'll lose your siddhis, you'll become a normal person, and eventually you might meet a saint, a Rasik saint who can tell you about Bhakti Marg. But if you dig on the south wall, that's Gyan Marg, and that leads you to liberation. So if you get Kaivalya Moksh, you enter into a state of no experience and merge into formless God and never experience anything ever again. So you get possessed by the ghost of Mukti, and that ghost never leaves you. You're in that state of Mukti forever. So don't dig on that south wall. Dig on the east wall. That's Bhakti Marg. Bhakti is easy. No bumblebees to worry about, no pythons, no ghosts to possess you. Just the easy path of bhakti that takes you straight to the highest divine attainment, the love of Radha Krishna. So here, Shri Maharaj Ji has said, Chutat na koti mukti sukh paaye, jehi sukh yah ras lagyo. The bliss of Radha Krishna's love is so much that even if you taste a little drop of it, and then someone were to offer you the happiness of millions of mukti, you wouldn't be interested. Soi sukh lavalesh, barik sapne hu lahyo, te nahi ganahi khagesh, Brahma sukhahi sajjan sumati. Tulsidas Ji is describing about Sanakadik Paramahans. And they're saying that, oh, we used to have that bliss of formless God, but luckily we got upgraded. Now we experience the bliss of the personal form of God. So they're saying that even if someone gets a little taste of bhakti ras, even in a dream, they'll never consider the bliss of formless God to have any value whatsoever. Their mind will never be attracted to it. And in fact, the reverse would happen. King Janak was already absorbed in the bliss of formless God, and when he met Ram face to face, Inahi vilokat ati anuraga, barbas brahma sukhahi man tyaga. His mind was forcefully attracted to Ram and abandoned the bliss of formless God, the bliss of mukti forever. There are many such examples from our scriptures. Like Sanakadik Paramahans, they were also engrossed in the bliss of formless God, the bliss of mukti, and they went to visit Mahavishnu in his divine abode. Tasyar vinda nayanasya padar vinda kinjalka mishra tulasi makaranda vayu. Bhagavatam. They entered his divine abode, and before they even saw him, they caught a whiff of the tulsi that had been offered at the lotus feet of Mahavishnu. And the fragrance of that tulsi mixed with the fragrance of the lotus charan of Vishnu Bhagwan was carried and entered into their nose. And as soon as they smelled that, the bliss of their formless God was banished from their mind forever, because now they had the bliss of the personal form of God. And they said, Kamam bhava svavrijinair niraye chala syat. Please Let us never be bereft of this bliss of your personal form. Even you can give us birth in Narak, we don't mind, as long as our mind always stays attached to your lotus feet. So the bliss of mukti, although it's unlimited and divine, but it is not comparable to the bliss of the personal form of God, and that too, the bliss of Radha Krishna, that exceeds everything. So the one who has received even a taste, Jehi mukha yah rasa lagyo, even a little bit of that ras has touched your tongue, you'll never be attracted by any amount of bliss of mukti. And in the final line, Shri Kripalu ji Maharaj says, Bhayo Kripalu dhani sab din ko, milyo ratana muha mangyo. The very thing I've been looking for my whole life, I got it. And now I'm kritarth. I am completely fulfilled. I've attained a state of perfection that will last forever. Because once you attain Radha and Krishna, that's forever. The very thing we're seeking is Radha Krishna. And that's so easily attainable. This ratana, milyo ratana muhamangyo. Ratana means the jewel. The very jewel you've been seeking, right here in your heart. And the path of bhakti is so easy to access Radha Krishna and open up that flow of blissful experiences. So easy, but no, I don't have the time. Why don't you have the time? Because I'm busy. Why are you busy? I'm busy looking for happiness. But the happiness you're looking for can only be gained by bhakti, and it's right here. No, I don't have time for that. I'm looking for happiness. Everybody's running this way, looking for happiness. I'm also running. I don't have time to listen to your philosophy or implement it or practice bhakti. Just let me run. When I'm done running, then I'll think of bhakti. When will you be done running? Until you get happiness, no one can stop running. So at least run in the right direction. You're going in the exact wrong direction just because everybody else is. Yeah, everybody's running in that direction. Why shouldn't I also? They can't all be wrong. Or can they? Of course they can. It's like a crazy person in an insane asylum doesn't believe the doctor. Says, me and the other 1,000 patients in here, we're all right. This doctor has lost his mind. So the saints come in this world and tell us, what you're looking for is over here. You're going the wrong direction. But everybody's running in that direction. Would you alone be the only one who's correct and everybody else is wrong? No, I can't believe it. Main bhi pagal ki tarah bhagunga, galat disha mein. So with the correct knowledge, if we accept that knowledge and practice it by doing Roop Dhyan every day, one day we'll also be able to say these words that were written by Shri Maharaji, Bhayo Dhani Sabadin ko. We'll also become completely fulfilled and happy forever. So let us, as we sing the last couple of lines of this kirtan, let us actually meditate on the lotus feet of Radharani. See if you can picture what would the most beautiful charan look like. The best you can imagine. Gaur, fair, very fair with pinkish tinge, perfect little nails, softer than fresh butter, softer than rose petals. So just engross your mind in doing Roop Dhyan of the lotus feet of Radharani as we finish singing this Pad Kirtan. Gaur Charana Anuragyo Mero Mana Gaur अनुराग्यो मेरो मन
और चरण अनुराग्यो मेरो मन
छूटत न कोटि मुक्ति सुख पाए
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 जेहि सुख जेहि मुख यह रस लाग्यो मेरो मन
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 और चरण अनुराग्यो मेरो मन
और चरण अनुराग्यो मेरो मन
और चरण अनुराग्यो मेरो मन
गौर चरण अनुराग्यो मेरो मन
भयो कृपालु धनी सब दीन को
भयो
Shyama Shyam Ki. We'll be continuing with tonight's intensive program. We have a special video that's been prepared. It's a surprise to me as well. I'm not sure what